Saturday, the 11th of July, 1942. The others can't get used to the big clock outside, which tells the time every quarter of an hour. But I like it, especially at night. I don't feel at home here yet. I don't hate it, though. It is like a holiday in a strange little hotel. My bedroom was very empty when I arrived, but I've stuck up pictures of my favourite film actors and actresses. It's a lot better now. Margot and Mother are a bit better now too. Yesterday, Mother cooked some soup for the first time, but she went downstairs to talk and forgot all about it. The beans were burnt black, and we couldn't get them out of the pot. Last night, the four of us went down to the private office to listen to the news from the BBC in England on the radio. I was so frightened that I asked Father to take me back upstairs. I thought someone might hear it. We have to be very quiet at night. Friday, the 14th of August, 1942. I haven't written for a month now, but not much has happened. The Van Daans arrived a day early, on July the 13th. The Germans were calling up a lot of people, and they thought it was safer to come early. Peter, their son, is a shy boy of almost 16. I don't think he will be a very interesting friend. We all share our meals now, and after 3 days we began to feel like one big family. The Van Daans told us a lot of news. People think we are escaping to Switzerland, although one woman says that an army lorry took us away in the middle of the night. And another family say that they saw all four of us riding on our bikes early one morning. Friday, the 21st of August, 1942. Now our secret annex is really secret. Mr. Kugler has built a bookcase over our little entrance. It opens like a door. It's a beautiful day outside, nice and hot. We can still enjoy it, lying on a bed in the attic. Monday, the 21st of September, 1942. Mrs. Van Daan is awful. She says that I talk too much. She won't save food in a dish. She leaves it in the cooking pot so that it gets spoilt. And she doesn't do any washing up. Mr. Clayman brings me books to read, and I've begun my schoolwork. I'm working hard at French, and Peter is learning English. Pim, our name for father, wants me to help him with his Dutch lessons. He makes terrible mistakes. He and I are also working on our family history and drawing our family tree, so I am learning about all my relations. Mrs. Van Daan walked into the room just now. I shut the diary quickly. Anne, can't I just look at it? No, Mrs. Van Daan. Just the last page? No, not even the last page, Mrs. Van Daan. I nearly died. That page was full of rude things about her. Sunday, the 27th of September, 1942. Mother and I had a discussion today, but I burst into tears. I can't help it. Daddy is always nice to me, and he understands me much better. I feel that Mother and I are like strangers to each other. Mrs. Van Daan is in a bad mood and is locking all her things up. She thinks that I am spoilt and always says, If Anne was my daughter, I'm glad that I'm not. Tuesday, the 29th of September, 1942. Try to imagine this. We haven't got a bathroom, so we all take our water away to wash in different places. Peter goes in the office kitchen, which has a glass door. Mr. Van Daan carries his hot water upstairs so that he can be private. Mrs. Van Daan hasn't had a bath yet. She can't decide which is the best place for it. Father goes into the private office and Mother into the kitchen. Margot and I share the front office. We close the curtains and wash ourselves there in the dark. On Wednesday, someone was doing repairs in the office downstairs. We couldn't use the toilet or use water all day. Father and I found a suitable pot which we could all use as a toilet. We had to sit still all day and not say a word. That was the most difficult thing for me. Thursday, the 1st of October, 1942. Yesterday I was very frightened. At 8 o'clock the doorbell suddenly rang. I thought that the Germans were coming to get us, but everybody said that someone only rang for a joke, or that maybe it was the postman, and I felt calm again. Peter can be very funny sometimes. We both like to dress up in silly clothes. One evening, he put on one of his mother's tight dresses, and I wore his suit. Everyone laughed so much. Miep bought new skirts for Margot and me at the Bijenkorf. They looked like potato bags. Friday, the 9th of October, 1942. The news is very bad today. The Germans are taking away many of our Jewish friends. They are sent to concentration camps at Westerbork, or even further away. We think many of them are murdered there. I feel terrible. The English radio says that the Germans are killing them with gas. Perhaps that's the quickest way to die. Perhaps you don't suffer so much that way. Tuesday, the 20th of October, 1942. My hand is still shaking as I write this. 2 hours ago, we heard an awful noise at our bookcase door. The knocking didn't stop, and someone was pushing and pulling at the door. Perhaps they had come to arrest us. We were white with fear. But at last we heard Mr. Clayman's voice. "Open up, it's me!" The door was stuck, and he couldn't open it. We had a good time on Monday. Miep and Jan spent the night with us. We cooked specially for them, and the meal tasted wonderful. Monday, the 9th of November, 1942. Yesterday was Peter's 16th birthday. He had a game and a cigarette lighter. He doesn't smoke much, but the lighter looks good. There was a big surprise, too. Mr. Van Daan heard that the English have reached Tunis, Algiers, Casablanca, and Oran. It is not the end of the war yet, but perhaps we can hope for the end now. Perhaps it will soon be history. Well, what about food in the annex? A man brings bread every day, a very nice friend of Mr. Clayman's, and we've stored 100 tins of food here. We can buy ration books on the black market, and we've also bought 300 pounds of beans. We decided to move them to the attic, and Peter was given the job. He succeeded in getting 5 sacks upstairs, but the 6th sack burst, and a river of beans poured downstairs. I was standing at the bottom of the stairs. Peter couldn't stop laughing when he saw me in a sea of brown beans. Unfortunately, though, the beans are very small and have disappeared into all the holes. Whenever we go upstairs now, we look for a few more beans. Tuesday, the 10th of November, 1942. Great news! Another person is coming to live here. 8 is no more difficult than 7, and it is so dangerous for Jews now. We have chosen a dentist called Alfred Dussel. He seems to be nice. Miep knows him, and she will help him to get here. He will have to sleep in my room, though, and Margot will have to move in with our parents. We'll ask him to fill the holes in our teeth. Tuesday, the 17th of November, 1942. Mr. Dussel has arrived. Everything went smoothly. He came to the warehouse, and Miep asked him to take off his coat so that no one could see the yellow star. Then she brought him to the private office. He still had no idea where he was going, or what was going to happen. When she opened our bookcase door, he was so surprised. He thought we had left the country. We were waiting around the table, ready to welcome him with a drink. After lunch, he slept for a short time, put away his things, and joined us for tea. We gave him the list of rules for the secret annex that the Van Daans had written. Guide to the Secret Annex for Jews and other people without homes. Open all year round. Near to the centre of Amsterdam, but in a quiet street with trees. Price? Free. Food? Low fat. Water? In the bathroom. Sorry, no fixed bath. And also on some of the walls. Space for storing things? Plenty. Private radio? For all guests after 6 p.m. But you must never listen to the news on German radio stations, only music. Rest hours? From 10 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. 10:15 a.m. on Sundays. This is for your safety. The management may also ask you to rest at other times too. Use of language. Speak softly at all times and not in German. Exercise. Every day. Lessons. Offered in English, French and other subjects. Singing. Only softly and after 6 p.m. Mealtimes. Breakfast 9 a.m. 11:30 a.m. on Sundays and holidays. Lunch. A light meal from 1:15 p.m. to 1:45 p.m. Dinner. Sometimes a hot meal, sometimes not. The time of dinner changes because of radio news broadcasts. Bath. The movable bath can be used by all guests after 9 a.m. on Sundays. You may take your bath in the bathroom, kitchen, private office or front office. The end. Thursday, the 19th of November, 1942. It's true. Mr. Dussel is a very nice man. He's willing to share a room with me, although I don't really like sharing my things with a stranger. But we all have to give up something here. If we can save just one of our friends, we will be doing something to help says Father. He's right. Mr. Dussel has told us a lot about the outside world. The news is terrible. The authorities have taken away so many friends and people we know to concentration camps. Army cars go round the streets day and night to arrest people. They're looking for Jews. They knock on every door and ask whether any Jews live there. When they find a Jewish family, they take everybody away. They even pay money for information. In the evenings when it's dark, I often see long lines of innocent people walking on and on. Sick people, old people, children, babies, all walking to their deaths. We are very lucky here. I feel bad sleeping in a warm bed when our dearest friends are suffering so badly, and only because they are Jews. Saturday, the 28th of November, 1942. Mr. Dussel complains about me all the time, and they said that he liked children. He complains to Mother, and then she is angry with me too. I think about it all in bed at night. Am I so bad? I either laugh or cry, then I fall asleep, wanting to be different. It's very confusing. Tuesday, the 22nd of December, 1942. The Annex was delighted to hear that we are all getting an extra £1/4 pound of butter for Christmas. We are each going to cook something with butter. Mr. Dussel says, "Quiet, quiet," to me all night, even if I just turn over in bed. But he gets up early on Sundays and puts on the light to do his exercises. Yes, we all have to be very sensible here and not get angry. But I would love to lock the door or hide his clothes or do something not at all sensible. Wednesday, the 13th of January, 1943. Terrible things are happening outside. People are being pulled out of their homes and arrested. They have to leave with only a small bag and a little money, but even that is stolen from them. Families are separated. When children come home from school, their parents have disappeared. The sons of Christian families in Holland are also sent to Germany. Everyone is frightened. Every night there are air raids. Hundreds of aeroplanes fly over Holland to drop bombs on German cities. Every hour, hundreds or maybe thousands of people are killed in Russia and Africa. The whole world is at war. Although the Allies are doing better now, the end of the war is nowhere in sight. We are luckier than millions of people. It is quiet and safe here. We have money to buy food. We are selfish. We talk about after the war, and we look forward to new clothes and shoes. But we should save our money to share with others later. The children round here only have thin shirts and wooden shoes, no coats or socks. There is no one to help them. They are always hungry and ask people on the streets for bread. I could tell you more about the suffering that the war has brought, but it would make me too sad. All we can do is to wait patiently until it is over. Saturday, the 27th of February, 1943. Pim thinks there will be an invasion by the Allies at any time now. Churchill was seriously ill, but now he's getting better. We are sharing our butter a different way now. Everyone gets their own piece on their own plate. But it's not done right. The Van Daans make breakfast for everyone and give themselves the biggest share of the butter. My parents are too frightened to argue, unfortunately. Wednesday, the 10th of March, 1943. I could hear the guns all last night. I am always frightened of shooting, and I usually climb into Father's bed to feel safe. The guns are really loud, and you can't hear your own voice. One night, there were strange noises inside the annex. Peter went up to the attic and found, guess what? An army of enormous rats! Friday, the 2nd of April, 1943. I'm in trouble again. Last night, I was lying in bed and waiting for Father to come and say my prayers with me. Mother came into the room and asked gently, Anne, Daddy isn't ready. Shall I listen to your prayers tonight? No, Mummy, I said. Mother got up, stood by my bed for a moment, then slowly walked to the door. Suddenly she turned round, and her face was full of pain. She said, I don't want to be angry with you. I can't make you love me. A few tears fell down her cheeks as she went out of the door. I lay still. I knew that it was cruel to say that, but I couldn't give her any other answer. I feel very sorry for her. She's pushed me away from her with her unkind jokes. She cried for half the night and didn't sleep. Father doesn't look at me, but I know what he is thinking. How can you be so unkind? How dare you make your mother so sad? But I can't apologize. Tuesday, the 27th of April, 1943. Everyone in the annex is still quarrelling. There are air raids and bombs every night, and nobody can sleep well. Our food is terrible. We have plain bread and coffee, not real coffee, for breakfast. We have lettuce or green vegetables and bad potatoes. That's all. Saturday, the 1st of May, 1943. Yesterday was Dussel's birthday. He pretended that he wasn't interested, but when Miep arrived with a large bag of presents from his friends, he was as excited as a child. He had chocolate, eggs, butter, oranges, and books. He arranged them on the table and left them there for 3 days, the silly old fool. He already has plenty of food. We found bread, cheese, jam, and eggs in his cupboard. He hasn't given us anything, but we've shared everything with him. Sunday, the 13th of June, 1943. Father wrote something for my birthday. It's very funny. It's about me and my hard life in the annex, under the authority of parents who are always telling me what to do. I had some lovely presents too, especially a big book of Greek and Roman stories, and sweets from everyone. People gave me some from the last of their stores. Tuesday, the 15th of June, 1943. Next month we have to give back our radio to the authorities. It's an official rule, and all over the country people are trying to find an old radio to give in so that they can keep their real radios in secret. It's a shame that we have to give in our beautiful big radio. But Mr. Clayman will give us a baby radio, which he has hidden at home. We'll put it upstairs. It's not allowed, of course, but we're not allowed to be here either. Our radio with its wonderful voice really helps us. We tell ourselves, let's try to be brave and cheerful. Things must get better.